Myself B. Jyoti, working as the Assistant Professor of Physics, Department of Freshman and DSH from BVRAT, Narsapur. Our course name is Applied Physics. Today our topic name is Effective Mass of an Electron, Origin of Energy Bands, Classification of Solids. So, what is effective mass of an electron? What is effective mass of an electron? So, let us see the definition of effective mass of an electron. So, effective mass of an electron is the mass of an electron. Effective mass of an electron is the mass of an electron when it is accelerated in a periodic potential, and it is denoted by m star. It is denoted by m star. So we are represented the mass by m. So here we are denoted by effective mass of an electron is m star. So what is definition of effective mass of an electron is effective mass of an electron is the mass of an electron when it is accelerated in a periodic potential, and it is denoted by m star. So coming to the explanation about the effective mass of an electron, and we know that mass of the electrons. So when an electron of mass m, that is 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg, that is the mass of an electron, is placed in a potential periodic. So mass of an electron, we are placed in a periodic potential, and if it is accelerated with the help of an electric or magnetic field, with the help of electric field and the magnetic field, then mass of the electron will not be a constant. Rather, it varies with respect to the applied field or field applied. The varying mass is called as effective mass. That is effective mass of an electron, that is m star. So we know very well about the mass of an electron, that is 9.11 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kg. So the mass of an electron, placed in a periodic potential, if it is accelerated with the help of electric or magnetic field, then the mass of an electron not be a constant. Will not be a constant. Rather, it varies with respect to the field applied. So the varying mass we can represent it by m star. Thus, effective mass of electron represented by m star. So coming to the expression of that effective mass of electron. So let us calculate the effective mass of an electron. How to calculate the effective mass of electron? So how to express the expression for the m star value? So let us discuss. To study the effect of electric field and the motion of an electron in one-dimensional periodic potential, means if the electron in a periodic potential, so periodic potential means the electron in motion. So when we applied some electric field on that motion of an electron, let us consider the Brillouin zone, which contains only one electron of charge E in the state K, placed in the external field E. So when we apply some electric field on the motion of an electron in a periodic potential in one dimensional, so let us consider a Brillouin zone, so which contains the only one electron of charge E, and then the state K and the electric field, external field is E. So due to the field applied, the electron gains group velocity, that is Vg, and therefore the acceleration changes. Means here due to whatever we are applying the applied field, external field. So the electron gains some velocity. We can call it as group velocity. Then automatically it changes some acceleration. Means the acceleration depends on the velocity, right? So means the rate of change of velocity, we can call it as acceleration. Then here the electron gains some velocity, that is a group velocity. So then simultaneously it has some acceleration, that is also changes because of the due to the external field. So whatever electrons are getting some velocity, that is group velocity, we can represent it by Vg, group velocity. So that Vg is equals to d omega by dx. So that is equation number 1. So where k is the wave vector, omega is angular velocity of electron. We know that omega is equals to 2 pi by nu. We know omega is equals to 2 pi by nu. So here the equation from the group velocity d omega by dx. d omega by dx, where k is a wave vector, omega is angular velocity of an electron. We know very well omega is equals to 2 pi nu. So we can write it as a nu is equals to E by h. Because of E is equals to h nu, we know the formula. From that we can write it as nu is equals to E by h. So nu is equals to E by h, we can substitute in this omega function. So 2 pi into E by h. So we know that E is equals to h nu. From that we can write it as 2 pi into E by h. That is the equation number 4. So this is the group velocity, this is the omega value, right? So substituting equation number 2, that omega value we have to substitute in the group velocity. Then we get group velocity Vg is equals to 2 pi by h into dE by dk. dE by dk. So Vg, here group velocity Vg is equals to 2 pi by h into dE by dk. So here we can write it as h cross is equals to h by 2 pi, right? So from that we can write 1 by h cut equals to 2 pi by, sorry, here h by 2 pi. Okay. So from that we can write 1 by h cross equals to 2 pi by h. So this is the h cross value. So I'm writing in the place of 2 pi by h, we can write it 1 by h cross. So here the 1 by h cross will be there. So this is a dE by dk. So Vg is equals to 1 by h cross from the equation 3, and the dE by dk we can write it as it is. So if the field E, if the field is applied to the electron for a time, so if E is the electrical field or external field is applied for a time, so that is dt seconds, time is dt seconds, then the change in field or work done. So if the whatever we are applying the electric field, that is E, in the time dt, so then the change in field or work done is equals to force into distance. Work done is equals to force into distance. We can write it as a distance, again velocity into time. Means change in field or work done is equals to force into velocity into time. Means the work done will come from the force into distance. Distance we can write it as a velocity into time. So finally the dE is the change in field or work done is equals to force into velocity into time. So next, that is the from whatever this from equation 3. So this is the change in field. So we will get dE is equals to force E. So it has some electric charge, that is E. Then force into velocity into time, velocity Vg, time dt. Electric field and external field, velocity and the time. So since the force is equals to small e into capital E. E is the electron charge, capital E is the electrical field. So that much force we are applying the electron. So that is E force is equals to small e into capital E. So we are substituting in that equation change in field or work done, that is force into velocity into time. E, Vg velocity dt is the time. So we'll get equation number 4. So substituting equation 3 in equation 4. So dE is equals to E as it is, Vg is equals to 1 by h cross into d by dE by dk is the Vg value, dt is as it is. So this is the force, this is from the equation 3 and this is the dt value. So or we can write it as dk by dh. If you see here, dE is equals to EE by h cross into dE by dk into dt. So in this we can write it as dk by, with respect to dk by dt, if we write, so then what happens, dk by dt, so EE, so dE gets cancelled, so EE by h cross into, that's it, so dk by dt. So here when dt will come here, will come downside, the numerator it comes to here. If you come here, then it will go to denominator, the dk's go to numerator. So numerator will be here and dk is the denominator. So dk by dt is equal to E by h cross. So that value you have to write here. So we got this value for dk by dt is equals to E by h cross. Means here if you see dE by dE gets cancelled. So dk, if you come like this, here dk and the dt. So dek by dt is equals to, dk by dt is equal to E cross by E by h cross. That is the equation number 4, that is dk by dt. So we know the acceleration. Acceleration means the change in velocity. Here the mass of the electron, when we applied the electric field on the external field on the motion of an electron, we'll get the velocity, that is a group velocity. The acceleration also changes, means the group velocity, the change in velocity means the group acceleration means the rate of change of velocity, means the rate of change of group velocity, that is A is equals to rate of change of group velocity, rate of change of group velocity. So that is the acceleration formula here. That is acceleration. That is the acceleration formula. So coming to the, from substitute for Vg. So we are doing this calculation for Vg, that group velocity. The first equation, what it tells, so A is equals to, equation from 3, so A is equals to d by dt of Vg. So Vg value, Vg is equals to, we know the formula, 1 by h cross dE by dt. So that is acceleration is equals to dVg by dt, dVg by dt. So dVg means this is a formula 1 by d by dt of this value. So d by dt of 1 by h cross into dE by dk, dE by dk. So we will get d square 1 by h cross a constant value, d square E by dk square means into dk by dt. So here we are multiplied and divided with dk. Multiply and divided with dk, divided with dk. So then we will get the acceleration is equals to 1 by h cross d square E by dk square into dk by dt. If you cross dk by dk, so you will get same value. So then acceleration is equals to 1 by h cross square d square E by dk square, as it is you have to write. So dk by dt in the before the equation number 4, equation number 5, you will get dk by dt is equal to E by h cross. E by h cross, that is dk by dt is equals to E by h cross. So from that we can write it as, in the place of dk by dt we have to write dE by h cross value. Then after that we can write in the, with respect to the a, so 1 by h cross square d square E by dk square E by h cross. So or E is equals to, the force is equals to, force E equals to 1 by h cross square. So E is equals to, here the h cross will be here, so that is h cross square by d square E by dk, d square E by dk square into A. So how we'll get? So E is equals to E. Okay. From that we can write it as, so here 1 by h cross only, here 1 by h cross only, here it's wrong. So h cross is equals to 1 by h cross square into d square E by dk square into E into h cross. So from that we can write E is equals to h cross by d square E by dk square. So from that equation 7 reassembles with Newton force law. F is equals to ma, or m, here m is the m star. So we are already, we discussed about the force, how much force we are applied, E, small e into capital E. So that is the value is F is equals to E into E. So this is the force value. Again we are substituting in this equation. E is equals to h cross by d square E by dk square. Okay, d square E by dk square into A. So this value, equation number 7 with Newton's force law, F is equals to E into m star A. So E value in the equation number 7. So where is m star is the effective mass of an electron. Comparing equation 7 and 8 means E equation and the equation number 8 force equation. So you have to compare those equations. If you write like this, so m star is equals to m star A is equals to m star A is equals to m star A equals to h cross by d square E by h cross by d square E by dk square into A gets cancelled. You will get m star is equals to h cross by d square E by dk square. So here m star A equals to h cross by d square E by dk square. This is the value of effective mass of an electron. Effective mass of an electron. So equation number represents the effective mass of an electron. Effective mass of an electron in a periodic potential, which depends on this value, which depends on the d square E by dk square. So what are the special cases for d square E by dk square? Why it is related to that? So let us discuss the special cases. Let us discuss about the special cases. The effective mass always depends on the d square E by dk square. So if d square E by dk square is a positive, then effective mass is also positive. Why? Because here the positive value will be there. The total value should be a positive value. If d square E by dk square is negative, then effective mass also negative. Then in coming to case 3, if d square E by dk square is 0, then effective mass becomes infinity, because something by 0, it should be an infinity value. So here we talk about the 3 cases, that is special cases. So special cases of effective mass of an electron. That effective mass of an electron, m star, it should be depends on the d square E by dk square. So if d square E by dk square is a positive, that effective mass is also positive. D square E by dk square is a negative, then effective mass is also negative. If d square E by dk square is a 0, it becomes the effective mass also infinity. If d square E by dk square is 0, then the effective mass becomes infinity. So coming to the second topic is origin of energy band formation in solids. Origin of energy band formation in solids. So we know that when two atoms of equal energy levels are brought closer together, the original levels E1 and E2 splits each other. And E1 and E2 splits each into two energy levels, that is K shell energy split into E1 E11 E12. Similarly, L shell energy E2 splits into E21 and E22 in figure 1 and 2. So let us discuss about the two atoms here. So these two atoms have equal energy levels. We are brought close together. We are brought close together. The original levels of E1 and E2, their energy levels are splitted. So how it is splitted? So the two energy levels are K shells and L shells. So in this, let us discuss about the one atom. So this atom consisting of some diameter. So this atom number 1. So it has some energy. So then when when two atoms are brought together, so the atom energy levels are splitted. So E1 and means each atom splitted into two energy levels. That is splitted into two shells. So means two energy levels means L shell, K shell and L shell. So in that E1 dash, first if you consider the atom 1, that is energy is E1. So it divided into two levels means 1, 2. So E1 energy, so E1 atom, the first atom energy E1, it is split into two energy states, that is E1 dash, E1, E11, E12. Then coming to the second atom, so it is also split into two energy levels, that is E21 and E22. So the atom 1 here, so that when we then the atoms are coming to, so generally let us discuss about the separate of the two atoms. Generally we are discussing about the, let us discuss about the separate of two atoms. Let us discuss about the first atom. So it consisting of two energy levels K shell and L shell. That energy is E11, E12. So let us discuss about the atom 2. So that is E12, E12 and E22. E12, E22. So let us, so here when these two atoms are brought into together, so K shell E11, E12. K shell will come into each other. So E22, E21, E23, E11, E12, E21, E22. So here let us discuss about the radius and the diameter. Here the radius is always greater than D. It's in the first figure. So when the atoms are brought close together, so the atoms, the radius must be equals to the diameter. So now when three atoms, let us discuss about the three atoms. So same, they brought close together, the original levels E1, E2 split each into three energy levels. That is E11, E12, E13. Coming to second atom, E21, E22, E23. Respectively third atom, E31, E32, E33, like that. So each atoms are divided, when we consider three atoms, the energy levels becomes three levels. So these type of transformation from the original energy levels into two or more energy levels is known as energy level splitting. So if we considering the number of atoms, the energy level, the splitting of energy levels is n number of times. So the more energy level, the energy levels becomes n number. So if you consider, if you doing like this, it forms some energy band. So let us discuss about the energy band. So therefore, if n number of atoms are equal energy levels are brought close together to form a solid, then it forms closely spaced continuously energy levels. So called energy band is shown in the figure. So if you consider in the place of 1, 2, 3 like that, if you consider the n number of atoms brought close together, then forms a closely packed. So closely spaced continuously energy levels, so called as energy band. So if we consider instead of 1, 2, 3 like that, if you consider the n number of atoms, n number of energy levels, n number of atoms consisting of equal energy levels. So it forms closely spaced energy levels, continuous energy levels. So it forms some band, that is energy band. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you are considering n number of atoms. 1, 2, 3 in the K shells, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that up to n. So in the L shell, if you consider L shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that up to n. So when we consider n number of atoms, so what energy band will form? Because of the n number of atoms should be a same energy levels. Okay, closed in the when we brought all the atoms, because of the atoms consisting same energy level, when we brought the close together, so band will be formed because of the close space in between the energy level. So from the equation, from the diagram, so hence an energy band can be defined as the range of energies possessed by electron is solid. Hence, energy band can be defined as the range of energy possessed by an electron in a solid. The magnified view of the energy band, which consisting of a large number of very close spaced energy levels, is shown in the figure. Means if you see the energy bands by magnified lens, by using magnified lens, so it consisting of large number of closely spaced energy levels. If you see like by using magnified lens, so this is a forming of energy bands. Okay, if you consider as a n number of atoms which are in same equal energy. So an energy band, how to define the energy band? So the range of energies possessed by an electron in a solid, that is called as energy band. So the magnified view of energy band, which consisting of a large number of very closed spaced energy levels, means if you see the energy band by using the magnifying lens, so from that we can observe the more number of energy levels. So by using the magnifying lens, so what is the view of, by using the magnifying lens, what is the energy band? So let us see here. So here if you consider energy here, so then atoms are here. So this is the energy band diagram. So the band gap between the energy bands. So these are the energy band. So first energy band, second energy band, third energy band, like that up to the n number of energy band. If you see the energy band, if you see directly, it is form a some space, some rectangular space or some line. So some width of the line. So but if you see the by using the magnify lens, so that the energy band, whatever we are seeing directly, the energy band, the space consisting of large number of energy levels, large number of energy levels. So this is the black one is the energy band. In between the black and some empty space, white space, no, that is a band gap in between the energy bands. So what is in inner field bonds and valence band in the conduction band? Let us discuss about the classification of the solids based on the energy band diagram. So during the formation of energy band, we already discussed about the energy band, how the energy band will form. So we already explained, no, when we consider as n number of energy, n number of atoms, that number of atom which consisting the equal energy levels in the solids, they are occupying the closely spaced levels. So when we see that directly, that should be some gap, some width, some space of that. So if you see the by using the magnifying lens, so each width or each space consisting of a large number of energy levels. So that is the energy band. So energy band already we defined that. So the range of energies possessed by electron. The range of energy possessed by electron, that is the energy band. So during the formation of energy bands, the inner field energy level forms a energy band. Whatever the inner, so the lower level, so it fills some energy levels. It fills some energy level, that is inner level. Fills some energy levels, forms energy band. Forms energy band called inner field band. Inner field band. During the formation of energy band, the inner field energy levels forms a energy band called as inner field energy band. So similarly, the electron in outermost shell of atoms forms the energy band. The same as the electrons in the outermost shells of an atom forms the energy band. The valence band will be completely filled or partially filled with the electrons based on the type of materials. Based on the type of material, the electron in the outermost shell, the atoms have formed some energy band. So the valence in that based on the outermost shell. So in the valence band means lower level will be completely filled, means valence band. Lower state is the valence band, upper state is the conduction band. So the valence band will completely filled and are partially filled with the electrons. So based on the energy band gap. So if the electrons comes out from valency band, when the whatever the electrons are here, the inner field band. So next band is the valence band. So valence band just on the inner field band. So here the valence band based on the energy gap of a type of material. So the lower band, that is a valence band, that is completely filled or partially filled. So then if the electrons comes out from this valency band to the conduction band, from the conduction band to the for conduction, they form energy level corresponding to the energy band called conduction band. So here then electrons comes out from the valence band to valence band. When the electrons comes from the valence band for conduction, then they form an energy level. Another energy level will form on the valency band. So that energy band we can call it as a conduction band. Means here the lower band is a valence band, upper band is a conduction band. So a type of the material, type of based on the band gap, the valence band will completely fill or partially filled. So the down of that means the lower band of the valence band is the inner field band. Basically the inner field is almost filled. So then the energy band will form. After that some electrons will be there. So some electrons are partially filled with completely filled in the valency band. And after some electrons are going to the valency band, some going to valency band to another level, that it will form from energy band, that is a conduction band. That is a conduction band. So this is inner field band, this is a valence band, this is a conduction band. The difference between the band gap between the conduction band and the valence band is a forbidden band or forbidden energy gap. Forbidden band or forbidden energy gap. So let us discuss about what is the forbidden band. While referring to energy band, based on the energy band, they are separated by small region which does not allow any energy levels. Such region in between energy bands are called forbidden bands or forbidden energy gap. That is EG shown in the figure. That is the EG that is shown in the figure. So based on the energy band, they are separated by small region. So here the conduction band and the valence band, those are separated by some gap. So some region between the conduction band and the valence band, some region is there. So in this region, Such region between the energy bands are called forbidden band and the forbidden energy gap. Means while referring to the energy band, they are separated by small region which does not allow the energy levels. Such region between energy bands are called forbidden band. Means what they are telling. So in between the energy bands between the energy band gap, the forbidden band is there. So in the forbidden band there is no energy, means which does not allow the any energy level, and it is separated by the two energy levels. That is the forbidden gap, forbidden bands or forbidden energy gap. So if you see here the inner field in that lower side, the down, and then after that the valency band, this fully or partially filled, the valency band, this is a valency band, this is a conduction band. This is the energy gap between the conduction band, the valency band is a forbidden and forbidden energy gap. So this is the inner field, valency band, conduction band, the forbidden band gap. So how to classify the materials? Based on what? So classification of a material into metals, semiconductors and insulators. So what is material? What is metals? What is semiconductor? What is insulator in the solids? How to classify these materials based on the solids? So in the solids, what based on that? These three are categorized on the solid, in the solids. So let us discuss. So what is metal or conductor? We can call it as metal or conductor. So let us see the diagram about here the conductor and the energy. So this is a conductivity. So this is energy. So in conductors, there is no forbidden band gap. Means the forbidden band gap means it is a region in between two energy bands. There is no which does not allow any energy levels. Means which does not allow energy levels means it has no energy levels. Means here when we discuss about the conductor, there is no forbidden band. Means all our energy levels are occupied in between. There is no energy gap between there is no forbidden gap between the valency band and the conduction band is means. So in conductor, there is no forbidden band gap. Here the valency band, valence and the conduction band overlap each other as shown in the figure. So this inner field energy band. So on that valency band, the conduction band is there. So in between conduction band, valence band, they are overlap each other. Those are overlap each other means there is no forbidden band. There is no forbidden band. So in metals, the availability of the free electrons will be very high due to the overlapping and the conduction band and the valence band. Hence, even when small external field is applied to it, the electrons from the valence band and the conduction band very freely enter into the conduction band. So, and to produce the current. So, simple example, the best examples of the metals or conductors, that is copper, aluminum, iron, silver, like that. That is example. Finally, what we are telling about metals or conductors, so it doesn't have a forbidden band gap. Means forbidden gap means it does not allow the energy levels. Means conduction band and valence band, it has more number of energy levels. So there is no energy gap. There is no forbidden gap between the conduction band and the valency band. Means they are overlap each other. Means there is no overlap in each other. Means when we apply the small external field to that field to it, so the the electrons are very easily transfer from valence band to the conduction band. Then the free electrons are moved from valence band to conduction band. Then produce the current. So these examples of the conductors and the metals is copper, aluminum and iron, etc. This is the energy band diagram of the metals or conductors. So here if you see the valency band, the conduction band. So there is no band gap in between the conduction band and the valency band. So coming to the semiconductor. In the name itself only semiconductors. So what is C? So in semiconductor, the forbidden band gap is very small. So in the order of 0.5 electron volts to the 1 electron volts, 1.5 electron volts. Hence, there will be a very small gap between the valence band and the conduction band that is shown in the figure. So, examples is germanium and the silicon. So, semiconductor. Semiconductor in the name itself only semiconductor. Sometimes it behave as a conductor, sometimes it behave as a insulator because of the energy band. So because of the forbidden band gap, because of the very small gap between the conduction band and the valence band. So that is a 0.5 electron volts to 1.5 electron volts. So because of this very small gap, so that in the conduction band, the valency band, it behave as a two types. What is that? Conductor and the insulator. So that is a example of the germanium and silicon. At room temperature, it behave as a, at 0 degrees Kelvin, it behave as a completely insulator. When we increase the temperature, the electrons from the valence band to the conduction band, so for conductivity, so it produce some current. So because of it has very small band gap, very small forbidden band gap. So these are the semiconductors. So in the semiconductor, it has very small band gap in between conduction band and the valence band. So this is the energy band diagram of semiconductor. Is a semiconductor's energy band graph in electron volts. So this is a field energy. This is a valence band. See, if you see in the conductor before slides, there is no energy gap in between conductor. So in the semiconductor, the forbidden band gap is very small, in the order of 0.5 electron volts to 1 electron volts. Hence, there will be a small region. There will be a small gap between the conduction band and the valence band, or valence band and the conduction band. As shown in the figure, if you see the diagram of the energy band diagram of semiconductors, so it is a filled energy bands, the valence bands, the conduction band. So, if you observe the before slide, so there is no energy gap between the conduction band and the valence band, means here the forbidden band gap is very small. So in the metal conductor, there is no energy gap between the conductor and the valence band because they are overlap each other, and coming to semiconductor, it has some gap. So in the semiconductor, in the name itself only, the semiconductor, semi means soft. Semi means soft. So conductors means sometimes it behave as a conductor, sometimes it behave as a insulator. At 0 degrees Kelvin, the material which behave as a insulator. Again, we are increasing the temperature for the material, so that should be behave as a conductor. So based on the temperature, the material which behave as a two types, that is insulator and a semiconductor. So this is semiconductor. So best examples of the semiconductor is the germanium and the silicon. Coming to the insulator, in an insulator, the forbidden gap is very wide. The range is 3 electron volts to 5.4 electron volts. 3 electron volts to 5.4 electron volts. And hence there will be a large gap between valence band and the conduction band. Since the forbidden gap is very high in the case of insulator, very large amount of energy is required for the conduction to occur. Means in the conductors or metals, there is no energy band gap. Means the band gap between the forbidden band gap between the valency band and the conduction band, there is no forbidden gap. Means the valency band and the conduction band overlap each other. So coming to semiconductor, it has a very small forbidden band gap, that is 0.5 electron volts to 1.5 electron volts. So if you, because of the very small gap between the valency band and the conduction band, it behave as a two types of materials like conductors and the insulator. Because of the 0 degrees Kelvin, it behave as a insulator. We are increasing the temperature, it behave as a insulator. So because of due to the forbidden band gap, because of less forbidden gap, the gap between the valence band and the conduction band is very less. So coming to insulator, the forbidden band gap is very high. Means the gap between the valency band and the conduction band is very high. That is 3 electron volts to 5.4 electron volts. So if you if you are produce the conductivity of that material, you have to apply more and more large amount, more and more energy is required to produce the conductivity. So for that, so what is the example of that insulator is a diamond and the dielectrics. So let us see the insulator diagram, energy band diagram. So if you see the energy band diagram, field energy level, valence band, the conduction band. So the conduction band, the valence band is forbidden gap is very high compared to the semiconductor. So this is an insulator. Okay. So the classification of the materials, metals and the semiconductors and the insulators. So those are based on the forbidden band energy gap. Forbidden band energy gap. So in the conductors, no band gap. So semiconductors, so that is 0.5 electron volts to 1.5 electron volt. Coming to the insulators, that is 3 electron volts to 5.47 electron volts. So based on this energy band gap, the materials are classified into metal, semiconductor and the insulators. So this is the classification of the material. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.